I've been reading about criticism from the international community regarding things that are happening internally in Israel. Now, let me be very clear. I believe the international community does have a role to play when it comes to issues such as the Palestinian conflict, issues which do impact the international community. Then members of governments around the world do have a right to talk about what's happening in Israel. But I open up websites and read, for example, in the Times of Israel, that the announcement last week of the formation of a largely right-wing religious governing coalition led by Prime Minister Netanyahu has refueled concerns in the U.S. and the European Union over a number of controversial bills that will likely make their way through Parliament once the new government takes office. We're not talking about issues about the Palestinians. We're talking about internal issues. And here's a quote from an EU ambassador. He said to Reuters, quote, "When you look at some of the legislation being proposed, it is very worrying. It is anti-democratic and looks designed to shut down criticism. It's the sort of thing you normally see coming out of Russia." Let me be very clear. I am a member of a party which now sits in the opposition. I can be critical of our government, and I will be. But that's my right as someone who lives in Israel, to be critical of internal policies that impact internal Israel. I don't understand what right anybody in the United States or throughout the European Union has to comment about internal Israeli issues. Even if I myself are critical, that's not, from my perspective, of their business. We are a democracy. We struggle with the same issues as other countries. The same way, I did not feel it was my business to comment on internal issues in the United States. There have been race riots in the United States over the past few months. We just saw a major issue in Baltimore, a place where I lived and studied, very close to my heart, but I abstained from commenting. It's not my business to comment on what's happening internally inside the United States, and I would hope that leaders around the world can have the same level of respect for what happens inside of Israel. Criticism about international affairs, it's open game, and I understand where it's coming from. But criticism of things that happen inside of Israel, we are a democracy. People are voted into office. There was elections just a short while ago, and we're now forming the government, and it's for us inside of Israel to play the role of criticizing, but not for those outside of the state of Israel. And I certainly hope that that request or that statement, that commentary that I made can be heard and that people can adhere to it as well.
Voice of Israel, your source for news and views on everything Israel and the Middle East.